Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Dorenkamp with Managing for Profit on Brownfield, a content partnership with Corteva Agriscience. Our guest for this episode is Eric Scherder, the U.S. Crop Protection Technical Lead for Corteva. Eric, another season is about to get underway, and growers are going to be talking about weed control again this year. What's a good starting point for growers when deciding on what herbicides to use?
Mark, that's a great question. We're a few months out, in fact, for just a few weeks out down south from getting planting started. And one of the things I've always tried to kind of reiterate to all customers is take a look back. When you start looking at what you did back in 2024, looking at your yield maps, hopefully you had some good spray notes. That's your real plan to start off the season in 25. Now, we want to make sure you're using a program approach. And what we mean by that is simply using multiple effective modes of action pre, and we want you to use multiple effective modes of action post. And the whole goal there is to hopefully the weeds you're spraying there see multiple modes of action so we get a good kill. Now, take for example, in the Enlist weed control system. When we're utilizing Enlist 1, you're bringing in a group 4 chemistry. A good complement to that would be bringing in a group 9, like glyphosate, or maybe a group 10, like Liberty. That's where we get multiple effective modes of action working together to try to really control those weeds. That's what we would like what growers really think about when they start off this year.
When it comes to applying the herbicides in the program approach, what can make the difference in the level of weed control a grower gets?
Excellent question. There's a lot of things we can do. Let's kind of start from the beginning. The first thing I would really encourage every grower to be doing is to be scouting their fields early, and understand what's out there, what size. We want to get out there timely to really target those small and actively growing weeds. When we hit those small weeds, we typically get a better weed control with just general chemistry out there in general. Now, with Enlist 1 and Enlist Duo, in the case of those, when we apply them over the top, we've also taken another consideration kind of out of the grower's decision making, and that is we only have full labeled rates of those products that can be applied post merge. If you've got other tank mix partners, you want to make sure you're using full labeled rates so that we do get a good and effective kill. Now, at the same time, you're thinking about it's got to go through that sprayer, it's got to come out the nozzles. We want to make sure we're using the right nozzle selection, trying to make sure we're getting the good balanced droplet spectrum there to get good coverage and drip protection. And once you're done, we really want you to go back out and start scouting again after the application because, Mother Nature, hot, dry conditions, we may not get the kind of kill we typically would or have seen in previous years. So we may need to make a second application. By scouting afterwards, we really make sure that we can get out there timely and, again, trying to achieve that ultimate result, good weed control.
In addition to herbicides for weed control, should growers take anything else into consideration?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's probably when you think about where we're at in today's ag, it's herbicides are the easy grab to because it's something we can go spray and we can do. But there's a lot of other tools we've utilized for decades. Think about no-till. You think about that has an impact on certain weed species, tillage, cover crops. In certain situations, we may have just a small area of the field. Maybe it might just be better to go out and just actually hand weed those out, those little pockets versus trying to spray the whole field. Point being is we want to use all the tools we can, not just herbicides, but all the cultural and other aspects to try to ensure we're getting good weed control.
Where can listeners go if they would like to get more information on these best management practices and the Enlist system?
Oh, for one, you can always talk to your local Corteva Agriscience sales rep, retailer who's selling the product, but also visit that enlist.com. You'll see there once you're inside, there's a lot of good information, product use guides, best management practices, how to effectively utilize these technologies, because at the end of the day, we want you to achieve excellent weed control. And we know we can deliver that with the Enlist weed control system.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep. Have a great day.
I'm Mark Dorenkamp with Managing for Profit on Brownfield, a content partnership with Corteva Agriscience.